Maybe down a little bit. Maybe the remote?
Yeah.
We are live.
There you go. We have to adjust ourselves.
Yeah, that's not
I like
too bad.
the camera crane.
I'm getting better at it.
So we're trying to see if our battery and our camera lasts this time.
This is a test. This is only a test.
Last time it crapped out on us, we're thinking it's because we didn't charge it. So hopefully it's good because we like the camera, just the battery didn't last time. So
Right.
It worked first time.
Live repositioning. I always told myself I would never do that, and yet here I am doing it.
Yeah, you hate it when other people do it.
I know, and then you realize that like you don't have a choice. I look like hell. Oh.
Yeah, well, we're not here for beauty.
Yeah, but I look dead.
No beauty tips from us.
I look dead.
We were told by someone that we look like twins.
Yes.
And you're definitely my daughter.
I'm still trying to get it positioned. I guess that's right. Is that
all
good?
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Let us know if
okay.
it looks good, if you can hear us. I don't think there's nobody there yet. But
according to...
We're earlier this time.
It's 6 o'clock. We went live at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Wow.
And now...
9 o'clock on the East Coast.
We'll get fancy, and I'll try to go live on Facebook at the same time. So, hi, everyone. Happy Friday Eve, Thursday.
If you watch on Facebook, we encourage you to watch on YouTube.
Right.
Because we get ad revenue.
We get pennies.
Yes. Literally pennies.
Pennies from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the one that wanted to do the live on a Thursday night. So what do you have to talk about?
Different days. Everybody set their clocks, because if you don't, you were late for work and you're fired.
Were you late? It's from forward. Yeah, you were late.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate daylight savings.
We thought we'd have a treat for you. We're in Southern California, and outside the window, as of just a few minutes ago, it was snowing. It had 35 every night. It's supposed to be 35 tonight. And as of a few minutes ago, it was snowing, but it stopped. We were going to take the camera and show you the snow, and we'll look at it again and see if it snows again. But it stopped, but it was snowing up here in the mountains. They got 2 feet of snow in Big Bear.
Oh, but see, okay. So let me do this.
Can you get him on?
Hold on, everybody on Facebook. I'm adjusting now. I'm adjusting 2 cameras.
We're doing 2 cameras at once.
There. Wait. God, I feel like the attack of the 50-foot woman. All you see is my hand. Ah. Okay. So. Okay. I had to move it because, and so the Facebook camera is angled, so I look larger than you.
Okay.
That optical illusion thing where if you look at something from a diagonal, like one person looks larger than the other.
I'm shrinking.
You are shrinking.
Because you don't feed me.
No.
Actually, she feeds me too much.
I overfeed him. Terry's always like, what are you, cooking for an army? I've literally cooked so much food before that I was like, who in the town wants some of this casserole?
Right. Oh, we've done that.
Or this soup. I have extra soup. Who in the town wants extra soup?
We make extra food. We give it out to people.
Our neighbors across the street, the Durans, who we featured Robbie Duran on Crag, because he's a great musician.
AKA the Partridge Family.
And they have like the Partridge Family over there has like a whole camp. I mean, it's mom and dad and 3 kids. And so one time I made like kettles of homemade tomato soup. And I messaged Tanya and I was like, do you guys want some soup? And she just had dinner for her whole family that night.
Last night you had stroganoff.
So Tim is in both places.
At once.
At once.
He's ambidextrous.
He's over on YouTube and he's over on Facebook.
Okay.
So, hi, Tim. He says, I didn't expect to find you live this evening. I know, it's a surprise.
Well, we're not going to ever announce it. It's like when we want to.
What it is Terry will be sitting there and he'll be like, let's do this.
Yeah.
That's the only way that's how we roll. But for those of you that are seeing this on Facebook, we encourage you to head
either
over
do both or.
To either do both or head over to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/dufonet, DUFOENET, DUFOENET, for multiple reasons. One, because we get AdSense over there. So
you will get ads unless you have YouTube Red, because you get no ads. We still make money if you got YouTube Red, but you get no ads. But if you don't have YouTube Red, you'll get ads, but it helps us out.
But it helps the stations.
Yeah.
And also, if you see the feed on YouTube, you will notice that the quality is far superior. Yeah. It's brighter, the picture's clearer, you can see every pore because I don't have any makeup on. So you'll wanna see that over at YouTube, because then you can be like, ha ha ha, she looks like shit.
If somebody donates to a super chat
on YouTube,
I will take my clothes off.
You will?
I'll be naked. Yes.
Okay.
And I'll give you a preview thing.
Hi, Jesse Levent is watching on Facebook.
Jesse, my man.
And Grumpy Old Bob is watching on YouTube.
Wow.
It's
why is he grumpy?
Sci Bob.
Oh,
Grumpy Old Bob. He says hello.
He must have just watched Ncuti.
He must be Grumpy Old Bob. He says hello, Terry and Tiffany. He says I have YouTube Premium, so no ads for me. That's awesome.
I love YouTube Premium.
Let me tell you, Bob, like
YouTube is still the greatest streaming channel ever.
Yeah. Well,
the stuff they have tremendous.
YouTube is handy because you can find almost anything.
Almost anything.
And you can just, that was something we always, and still do struggle with, because now there's so much content out there. There's so many streaming services, and we have so many of them that we'll sit down, and it's always this conversation every night, because we watch TV when we eat dinner. And it's always this conversation of, well, what are we going to watch? And you will I have literally before spent more time trying to figure out what to watch than actually watching it, because you have so many options. You're like, what do I do? So YouTube is nice because you can literally sit down and say, I want to watch, and it could be so random. It could be like, I want to watch videos on why Scottish men wear kilts. Yeah. And you'll find something on YouTube about that. So Clint is over on Facebook.
Okay, hi Clint.
Clint, you should go watch us over on YouTube.
Yep.
Because
we get paid.
We get AdSense, and it's a better camera. This right here is my cell phone camera, and I don't have the brand new cell phone.
Give it the link again.
So the one over here is YouTube. So you can go over on our page on YouTube. If you just go to youtube.com/dufonet, DUFOENET, or just go to youtube.com and look up Cult Radio, and you'll find our page. Clint says, good thing I was on Facebook. Yeah, because it was a surprise.
He doesn't get notifications.
No, he does, but they're slow.
It's really good to hear from Jesse. My favorite movie, Macon County Line.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably not his favorite movie.
No.
Black Oak Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, yeah. Cy Bob wants to know if we're going to watch season 2 of Ncuti Doctor Who.
We're going to watch everything Ncuti does.
We actually really, really love Ncuti Gatwa.
Okay. There's a lot of political things we disagree with, but as far as the actor and the man, we do like.
Yeah. Now, first of all,
he's got the running.
The thing is that it's still Doctor Who. Like, the only time we actually stopped watching Doctor Who.
Bob would be like, is it really?
In my opinion, it's more Doctor Who than Jody was. Oh, Bob just gave us our first super chat.
Oh my God, really? Wow, you're so great.
He said, this is for Terry to keep his clothes on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I got so ashamed when I did this. I shouldn't have done.
And that was not only the first super chat tonight, but that was our first super chat ever.
I'll tell you what,
ever.
Because you gave a donation, I will put more clothes on. Okay?
It's upside down.
It doesn't matter.
So the only time that we stopped watching Doctor Who was when it was Jody, because I just did not like her.
They stopped doing the song and dance numbers.
Well, see, the thing is that I really love Ncuti. Now, like Terry said,
We are used to him. We watch Sex Education.
They have, I think the problem, and I don't know if Bob is going to disagree with me, but I think the problem with Doctor Who is not Ncuti. I think it's the showrunners and the writers. I think that and it's unfortunate because Russell Davies is a great showrunner. He did some of the best contemporary Doctor Who episodes that were done, but he has an agenda and he's trying to push his political views too much. And
he's like the guy that does American Horror Story. Ryan
Murphy.
Ryan Murphy.
Yeah. So he's trying to push his opinion on it. Now, Doctor Who has always...
It's okay to have that sexual agenda, but don't shove it on something.
Well, and that's the thing. Doctor Who has always had political messages.
You shouldn't shove it if you're hetero or gay, either one.
Doctor Who has always had political messages. It has. It's always been like, giving you messages to think about.
The one that probably was the most controversial that bothered me is they had an episode and someone was cremated.
Yeah.
And they said when you're cremated, you suffer and you're in agony and pain because you're burning forever and you don't go to heaven and all this stuff. And I had no choice but to cremate my father.
Well, it was
because I couldn't afford to send him back to Illinois where our cemetery plots are. And it just bothered me forever.
Didn't they say also that it was not Christian and they wouldn't go to heaven?
Yeah, they wouldn't go to heaven.
Because
it's not Christian.
The whole thing is like it's supposed to be ashes to ashes, supposed to return to the earth and all this other kind of stuff.
And my mother was buried in the coffin ceremony. My father, I couldn't afford, and we own cemetery plots, but it's in Rockford, Illinois, and I couldn't afford to ship a body. Ken, not trying to get gross or anything or get me upset, but and then they said that and just. I always think about it.
Yeah, that wasn't cool. But I mean, Doctor Who has always been political. It's always given you stuff like moral, religious, political things to think about.
Well, Christians believe you shouldn't cremate too. But that was precedent. That was pushing a Christian philosophy.
But now they're too. It's too. How do I say this? It's too apparent what they're doing. Like. Give something to think about, have the message, but let the person pick it up themselves or not. Don't make it so apparent that you feel like you're being hit over the head with it. And I think that that's what's happening, unfortunately, with the show running and the writing for the new Doctor Who. Bob says, I do agree with you. Russell T. Davies should not have come back. They should have had a showrunner who was not a fan of the show in the past. Yeah. Okay, Clint is over on YouTube now.
Fantastic.
You're really, I'm a natural blonde, right? Like you're making me talk here and there, and I have multiple cameras and I have multiple chats, and I may not be able to figure it out.
You're doing it.
So far.
Yeah.
At some point, might not be able to.
So, what are we doing on Saturday? Because we said we were going to have a new show, and we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be all new. It's not going to be a classic, Craig, but it's going to be a little different because, we mix it up. There's some new shows that we host. There's some weeks that we don't have a show, which is very seldom. There's some weeks we have Classic Craig, and then we have guest hosts. And that's what we're doing.
Oh, I didn't even notice that, Clint.
What?
Clint went from Facebook over to YouTube, and he said that we switched sides.
Oh.
Because how cameras do that reverse mirror thing? One of the cameras, the wireless webcam does the reverse mirror thing, and the Facebook, the cell phone cam doesn't.
All I care about is the battery doesn't go dead on it.
So far, so good.
Wireless webcam. Clint, did you get snow? Because we got snow in California. We got snow. It's 35 degrees.
Okay, Google, is it snowing right now?
It's likely. Right now in Elizabeth Lake, California, there's a good chance of snow.
It's not snowing.
Okay, Google, what's the temperature outside?
In Elizabeth Lake, California, it's currently 36 degrees.
36. And it's only like 6 something.
Yeah, it's supposed to get down to 34. 34 tonight, although that could change because it's been saying 35 all day.
Freezing my nuts off.
So this weekend, we are doing a specialty show, a brand new Crag Live specialty show that's going to be a tribute to
a voice artist,
Dick Orkin. Was that his name?
Yeah, Dick Orkin, DJ and voice artist.
DJ, voice artist,
because I like to pay homage to broadcast.
Radio personality, and he became famous because his local segments that he produced in Chicago became syndicated and went nationwide, and they were segments for two, I guess you would call them series, even though each one was only like 2-3 minutes long.
Superhero.
2 series of superheroes. One was Chicken Man, and the other was the Tooth Fairy.
Now, back in the day, growing up in Rockford, Illinois, it used to come on WLS in Chicago. They would have the Tooth Fairy. He actually made an appearance at a mall. He had a mask on, and he kind of dressed with a cape and stuff. He had taken oath. It was fun stuff.
Okay, Cy Bob wins. He says it's 43 degrees in Pennsylvania right now.
Oh, he's warmer than we are.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have Rick Bowden just popped into the YouTube chat. He says, I'm glad to see Terry, very engaging and praying for you.
Thank you. I need it, believe me. I definitely believe in helping.
Terry is a fighter. And let me tell you, I would say probably 9 times out of 10, Terry has more gumption than I do. Terry's like, let's do this. Let's put on a suit. And I'm just like, okay.
Went into my coma back a few years ago. They tried to say.
Do you know it's been 3 years? Well, almost 3 years. April, May will be 3 years.
They tried to say that some of my memory cells burned up, which happened to my dad. My dad had a fever, and it wound up that he lost the ability to read and write. He could talk and all that, but he couldn't read and write. He lost all his education he had learned. Never got it back, even though we tried to teach him. They tried to say that my memory burned up and I had the mental capacity of an 85-year-old man. That's a bunch of bullshit. I can remember things Tiffany can't remember.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
My mind is good. My body's fucked up.
The only thing Terry can't remember is what we decided to have for dinner.
Yeah.
So he'll be like, let's have this for dinner. And then an hour later, he's like, oh, let's have this. I was like, I thought you wanted blah, blah, blah.
Now, the mystery host,
now,
I hear
Rick says, just got out of MU Word on my word on Western's YouTube Thursday night live show. Do you know Rob Word?
No.
No. Tell us about it. I didn't know.
Is that video? Or
yeah. Radio? Well, he said it was a Thursday night live show. So is it another YouTube live? Because we love YouTube livers.
Call them vloggers.
Vloggers, YouTube livers, vloggers, whatever you want to call them. We have a rotation. We watch.
I'll tell them who we watch.
We watch Scott Michaels on Dearly Departed.
He ran a tour of places where celebrities died and so on. He used to live in L.A.
That man knows his stuff.
His tour buses are
what's cool is Scott Michaels from Dearly Departed knows retro stuff. It's not just like, oh, okay, well, from like the 80s and on. Like, he knows stuff about like the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, like way back. And he does lives.
What about his museum? He had a museum.
He had a death, what was it called? A death museum?
Yeah.
It's called a death museum.
Dearly Departed museum.
He had a Dearly Departed brick and mortar museum in Hollywood where he's collected a lot of artifacts from various celebrities' passings and also celebrities in general. So he has like Mae West dentures. He has the car that Jane Mansfield died in.
Yeah, he bought the wreck in Jane Mansfield.
He has Jane Mansfield's pink gates from her pink palace.
Stuff from
Divine. He has a whole bunch of Charlie Manson, Sharon Tate stuff because he's a little bit, I mean, he would hate me saying this, but he's a little bit of an expert on the whole helter-skelter Charlie Manson, Tate LaBianca murders. But he had a physical brick and mortar, and then they shut down, and he has a bunch of the stuff in storage, but
he moved to Palm Springs.
Now him and his husband live in Palm Springs, but he does lives, and he still does videos, and his videos are like little mini documentaries.
Well, a lot of things that he does is he'll get the ashes of celebrities that were never buried because their family couldn't afford it or whatever, or they don't have a gravestone. and he'll either get them a gravestone or he'll literally bury them. He buried the ashes of Ken Weatherwax, who played Pugsley on the Addams Family.
And Mishu.
Mishu, the midget.
From Waxworks.
Yeah,
and
from
Waxworks. Stuff
Waxworks,
with Ringling Brothers. And then we'll get back to the YouTubers we watch in a minute. But Rick said that he's from Boston originally.
Okay.
And he respects your work and your spirit. Keep going. So that's very nice.
But this YouTuber you're talking about, is that?
Yeah, I don't know Rob Word. Tell us about Rob Word. But Clint said that he wanted to buy Ed Gein's truck. Clint, let me tell you, the dirt from Ed Gein's grave that you collected, Scott Michaels from Dearly Departed would probably love to have that. It kind of creeped us out a little bit.
Now,
I'm not gonna lie.
We appreciated you sending it to us, but once you sent us the
all
dirt,
kinds of bad stuff
a lot
started
of
happening.
bad shit started happening, including losing the house.
I don't want to be superstitious, but I'm superstitious. And like, as soon as we got that dirt, like a whole bunch of bad stuff started happening.
We were hearing voices in the house. When we were moving, a friend of Tiffany's, you may know her, she played Drunk Girl on Craig Radio. Now, it may have been my father. Tell him what you saw.
I had a bunch of friends over to the house. We were moving stuff out of the house, and we had the door open because we were loading the U-Haul.
But I don't know if you know Clint, but we moved. Okay.
And it was all girls. It was all women that were there. And she ran into the back room, the back bedroom where I was, and she's like, "Oh my God, I think I just saw a ghost." And I said, "What? No, you didn't." A
full body, full apparition.
And she goes, "Yeah."
The whole body standing in front of her talking to her.
She said, "Yeah, because it was a man." She's like, "It's all women here." And she goes, "I just saw a man walk in to the house." And she said, "I ran after him into the door to try to stop him because I thought it was somebody messing around who shouldn't be." And she's like, "He disappeared. He was gone."
So it was either dad or it was Ed Gein.
I asked her what he looked like, and the man she described to me was my grandfather.
More likely.
And I said, "Oh,
I would rather have
that was just my grandfather." And then, okay, so Rick says, "Do you know Mel Simmons, the nostalgia guy from WBZ Boston, and his many books? He's 85 now."
I don't think so.
No, you don't know too much from the East
Boston
Coast area. Yeah, Terry's
Mostly
more of
West
Chicago.
Coast.
Well, West Coast, but also Midwest.
I love stuff like that, though. I would love that.
We'll have to look him up. Mel Simmons is a nostalgia guy from WBZ in Boston. We'll have to look him up.
That's the guy that's on, and he's on YouTube?
I don't know. Maybe. That might be. I don't know.
Maybe our new friend can.
My word on on Western's YouTube Thursday night live show.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll go back and reference this chat later and do some searches.
Well, some of the other ones we watch.
Clint says he still has a bag of the dirt.
I don't send it. I want to lose this house too.
Clint, I will give you.
I appreciate it.
No, wait. Clint, if you want to send a bag of dirt, I will give you an address to send it to.
He will love it.
And include a note that it's coming from you, me, and Terry, courtesy of Cult Radio A Go-Go, and I will have you send it to Scott Michaels from Dearly Departed. You'll have to explain what it is, but he does.
He might open his museum up again. He'll put it on the museum.
And Scott Michaels, he does Dearly Departed. He does monthly package openings, so it will get on YouTube. It will be on YouTube Live, and he'll open it on camera. And it would be hilarious to see his reaction when he opens it and finds that it's the bag of dirt. And he'll be like, "Oh, okay," and then reads the note and finds out what it is. I would love to see that. So if you have a bag of dirt you'd like to send, let me know, and I will get you an address.
I mean, I'm fascinated with Ed Wood. I can't exactly say I'm a fan considering what he did.
No, Ed Gein.
Oh, I meant Ed.
You are a fan of Ed Wood.
I am a fan of Ed Wood.
Yes.
But I think that things are attached to things.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of bad karma with that dirt.
So Rick says that I have a bigger monitor over here.
We also had Cole from the Titanic.
Rick says
that was making noises too.
Broadcast radio. Mel is on broadcast radio in Boston. He's semi-retired.
Oh, okay.
Rob Work is in LA. So it's two different people.
Very good. I would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he says.
I appreciate Mel broadcast.
Mel is Vandrum, and Rob is a big producer. So, yeah. Okay, so that's one of the YouTubers we watched. The other YouTuber we watched Jordan the Lion. Days with Jordan the Lion.
They go to celebrity graves and old Hollywood
celebrity graves and places where they shot TV and film and stuff like that. And then Scott on Tape is another one. He does the same kind of thing. He'll do filming locations. He'll do grave sites, which the grave site thing, Terry and I really enjoy watching because we, before YouTube was a thing, and before YouTubing and YouTubers doing lives and videos was a thing, Terry and I used to go to grave sites, used to go to cemeteries in Los Angeles and visit the grave sites of celebrities, you know, people like Dean Martin and Jimmy Stewart and, you know, Stan and Ollie, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, Buster Keaton. We used to do that. And I remember Marilyn Monroe. I remember the girl from Poltergeist. I remember when we did that because this was like this was what? 20 years ago.
We never filmed it though.
We never filmed it, but we would go and we'd actually invited a couple people to go with us. And everybody always thought it was weird. They're like, what do you do? We're like grave sighting. They're why? That's weird.
How they do it?
Now it's a thing. There's like a crap ton of YouTube videos where people do that.
Got on tape.
And I told Terry, I was like, we were before our time.
There's a guy, Grim Life, him and his wife are well into horror. Mm-hmm. And they go to European locations.
Yeah, they're in Italy right now. Yeah. So we watched Dearly Departed, Scott Michaels. We watched Scott on Tape. We watched Jordan the Lion. We watched Grim Life Collective. And sometimes we watch David Omen. Yeah.
David Omen lives in a house. The house was built after the murders, but it's 2 houses down on the drive from the Sharon Tate murders.
Yeah.
And he swears to God his house is haunted. We've actually seen things happen on camera. We have seen things move.
Scott, all of the YouTubers mentioned know David Omen. They've all been to the Omen house. And Scott Michaels from Dearly Departed, who does believe in spirits and ghosts and bad juju connecting itself, like, you know, to things. Mm-hmm. He has said that without a doubt, whether you believe it or not, he doesn't care. Without a doubt, the Omen house is haunted. David Omen says he talks to Sharon Tate's spirit, and he talks to Jay Sebring's spirit.
David Omen's a little
eccentric.
Yeah.
He's eccentric.
A little eccentric. But yeah, we enjoy.
Rick, I agree with you, Rick. Rick says, no, do not play around with the occult. No.
No, very seriously.
Yeah, no, you don't even. I mean, whether you believe or not, just the fact of the matter is that you should just err on the side of caution because there are things in this world that are far beyond what we can understand. So just don't.
Something happened one night. Now, if you look up my name on the Alexa voice.
You can't say it because it'll go off.
Man, you know, there's a thing put out by Amazon. It's called the ECHO or Alexa. It knows who I am and it knows about the station. It'll talk about us and everything. I asked it one night about me, and it was bizarre because it said, Terry Dufault is fighting cancer, and he is respected and admired by everyone who knows about his strength and his courage. Where did that come from?
But what was weird we tried
to
get it to say it again so we could record it, and we could never get it to repeat it again.
Now, we've heard it say many times that we have 2.5 million listeners on the radio station, but it never said that. It just said Terry's got or had cancer. But it gave like a tribute, like it was coming from my parents or somebody was watching over it. It's very weird. We've had a lot of things.
Clint said that he was going to get more of Ed's dirt last month.
Just be careful you don't dig up Ed, Clint, because that's not good.
But we could. Okay, can I say something off color?
Yeah.
If somebody digs up Ed, it would kind of serve him right. Talk about karma. I mean, don't do it, Clint. Don't. Nobody should do it because it's still a grave. It's still desecrating. But
Clint, would you dig him up and make furniture out of it?
Ed didn't respect other people's resting place. Okay, so
I don't know if you saw Clint. Did you see that documentary?
Let me finish the reading. The guy says, I was going to get some more of his dirt last month, but we couldn't get to his grave because of the snow.
Right.
And he's mentioned, which we did know about, somebody had stolen Ed Gein's gravestone, but they tried to sell it on eBay.
The thing that
which is brilliant, because you're not going to get caught doing that, right?
The thing that was crazy is, I don't know if you saw that documentary, but they had an interview with somebody that worked at the nut house that they committed Ed to, and as part of therapy, they gave him tools.
They had him working in like the as a custodian kind of a guy,
fixing the door hinges
and I'm thinking, it's Ed Gein. Like, why would you give him a hammer and a drill? Like, that's just, and all the people, because the documentary we saw, if you guys want to check it out, it's on MGM Plus. It's called The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein.
Because it has him talking on cassette.
And it's
speaking.
It's like a 4-part docu-series that's an hour long each one.
And they interviewed Ed, and they've got the audio. I've never heard him talk before.
The thing that cracked me up is that when they interviewed the women who worked in the sanitarium, because I am actually of the belief personally that I don't think Ed was crazy. I think Ed was just smart and calculating what he said so that he didn't get put in prison and instead got put in a sanitarium. We knew he was going to go away somewhere.
Why? How would he answer things?
He would say stuff like, they'd say, oh, well, did you do blah, blah, blah? And he would say, oh, no, I don't think so. I can't remember. I guess I must have.
Appears that I might have.
I guess I must have.
He would never really incriminate.
Yeah, I guess I must have. It appears I must have, but I don't remember that.
But he was very nice. He was a model prisoner.
Kleenex under your nose.
Huh?
You have Kleenex under your nose. There you go.
Yeah.
Beard.
I just swallowed it. Yeah. Swallow Kleenex.
So I just think he was very calculating and make sure he didn't get put away in state prison. But
Ed Wood fascinates me.
Gein.
I keep saying that. Damn it. Ed Gein fascinates me. I don't want anything to do with Jeffrey Dahmer. He just creeps me out. And Manson, I'm pissed off because he killed a woman I was in love with, Sharon Tate. Well, he didn't do it. He ordered other people to do it. But Ed Gein is fascinating because so many movies were made about him.
No, and even when you hear...
Is it wrong to think he's fascinating?
Even when you hear Ed Gein talk, it's kind of the same thing as it was with Dahmer and other ones. They talk kind of normal.
Yeah.
The one that was bat shit crazy was Manson.
The one that was the most normal was Dahmer. He was really normal.
Gein was normal. He was just country.
That Dahmer thing on Netflix, because we don't need to worry now. We canceled Netflix, so we couldn't even get through it.
Yeah.
Because it was just disgusting.
All right, so anybody who is seeing us on Facebook right now, just a reminder that we're also live on YouTube. So if you want to help us out and help support the station, head over and watch us on YouTube Live, which you can do so by going to youtube.com/Dufonet, DUFOENET, or just go over to YouTube and look up Cult Radio. It should come up. You should be able to find us, and it'll have a little live.
Please follow us, including click the notification thing on Facebook and YouTube. Oh.
Yeah. Rick says residual hauntings are different than intelligent hauntings. One is just playback, and the other is demonic.
Right. I don't know how anybody cannot. Well, I guess there's some people who don't believe in God either. But if you believe in God, how can you not believe in the devil?
Residual haunting, for people that don't know, that's basically kind of like if you've ever seen Dawn of the Dead, to where when they say that the zombies came back to the mall because they come back to what they remember. That's kind of like residual haunting. Like they're gonna come back to what they knew in life, or if there was something that was unresolved or traumatic, then their energy is left.
We used to own a haunted house in Tennessee, and it was a house that was built in the Civil War. It was that old. It had an underground tunnel where they would sneak slaves through. And it was made into 3 apartments, and we lived in the bottom part. The upper part was empty because we threw the tenants out. We didn't like him. In fact, we got him put in jail. He stole some shit. But in the middle of the night, we would hear noise, and you would go up there, and the furniture would be moved.
Yeah. So Daniel Asutra is watching us on Facebook.
Hey.
So hi Daniel.
Buddy.
If you want to see a better view, a better camera, head over to YouTube, because this is my phone.
Yeah.
And YouTube is the bright camera where
And
it looks
you'll
like
see
this.
ads, but it helps us out because it gives us sense.
So, Rick is correcting me. I was wrong. He said residual haunting is playback from the event.
Right.
Dawn Oh, well, yeah, I knew that. I was using it as a reference. He said Dawn of the Dead is zombies, which are only fiction. Right. No, I understood that. It's just the idea of going back to what you knew or what you were connected to.
If you ever get out our way.
You know, there have been, as far as saying Dawn of the Dead zombies are only fiction, there has been some German experimentation to where they reanimated some things that were dead.
That's what Dahmer was trying to do. He was trying to make zombies.
Which would make zombies a real thing.
He poured chemicals into people's brains that were alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's not obviously a common thing, but there was some German... I don't know if they're on YouTube. It probably was taken off of YouTube if they were, but if you Google and you look it up, there was some German scientists, I think it was around the time of the Nazis, right? That
was Nazi.
Experimented with trying to bring dead creatures back to life.
Well, they had a dead dog and they made him get up.
Yeah.
Got up off the table.
Freaky.
He moved his head, wagged his tail. It was creepy as hell.
Yeah, it's freaky.
It was kind of like Reanimator.
But less funny.
If you ever get out our way, though, the Queen Mary, the ship, it was a passenger ship, became a military ship in World War II. It came from Britain, and we bought it in South Long Beach. It is so, we have got so many stories. That place is so haunted. We have had so many things happen. We'll have to tell you about sometime.
Yeah. We should save that for like a Halloween live stream.
Yeah.
October is only, 7 months off?
So when's the next Doctor Who?
It starts next month.
Next month.
Season 2.
And then it's supposed to be every week.
Season 2 with Ncuti Gatwa starts next month.
So, Bob, do you think they've got like David Tennant and Catherine Tate holding? They'll be back?
They're not going to bring them back.
You don't think so?
I don't think they will.
I think they will.
I don't think they will.
They will if the ratings start to fall.
Thank you, Bob. He says it starts on April 12th.
Okay.
So we're a month away. We're a month away from Ncuti Gatwa.
Tell Bob about that article we read where they said it was failing.
There was a lot of articles that came out. They said that the new Doctor Who was failing. There was a lot of rumors that Disney Plus was going to pull it, that it was going to be canceled, that they weren't going to continue production on it. They said that Ncuti was the reason why it was failing, which I don't believe is true. We talked about that. I think it's the writing, and I think it's the showrunner, and I think it's the trying to push agendas. I think they're
Ncuti is very funny. That's why we like it.
I think they're also trying too hard to appeal to the younger generation, which I know Bob will agree with. Yeah. They're trying to be, what's the term they say? They're trying to be woke. They're trying to be too woke, too conscious of being politically correct and this and that and everything else. And they're trying to pander to that younger audience. But in the interim, what they're doing is they're forgetting that the audience that watched them 50 years ago are still viable, and they're forgetting that even the people that started watching them in 2005 when the revival came back on with Eccleston, they're not Gen Z, they're not millennials, they're my age.
My prediction is the original actress who's still alive, she's like 70 or 80 years old, that played Doctor Who's granddaughter is going to make an appearance.
She wants to.
She wants to. She's been showing up at events.
Yeah.
There's an interviewer.
I think it would be sad if they didn't let her. They let Ian from the first series, like the first season of the first series with William Hartnell. They let him come back.
Yeah, he passed away now, but she's wanting to come back. There's a great interview with her on YouTube. Just look it up.
Clint says he saw the episode where Gene Simmons from Kiss was on the Queen Mary and got scared.
Oh, I didn't see that. Where was that at?
What show was that on? Was that on like a ghost hunting show? We'll have to go back and see that.
Probably. What's his name from Vegas?
Baggins. And Bob says the ratings for the first season on the BBC were very low. Yeah. I also think it was a mistake for them to, even though I know they wanted Disney money, I think it was a mistake for the BBC to sell off interest and share in Doctor Who to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the changes are probably being controlled by Disney Plus. And I think that keeping Doctor Who as a BBC property probably helped it immensely too. And now it's kind of all over the place.
It's supposed to be
and did anybody think about the fact that possibly ratings are down because you used to be able to just watch it for free on BBC, and now you have to pay to watch it on Disney Plus? Like, I don't know, maybe no, I think it's like 12 or something like that. Maybe that has something to do with it. Just a thought. I don't know.
And that spin-off is supposed to happen.
I wonder if that's still going to happen.
What's the name of that organization again that Catherine Tate works for now?
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of it. Bob Unit. Thank you. Yeah.
See, I have a good memory. She has the mind of an 85-year-old.
Well, I also feel like an 85-year-old.
Yeah, so do I.
It happens. Clint says it was a show. Oh, it was Gene's show called Family Jewels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clint, save your money. Gene's got an offer for you for like $3,000. You could spend a day with him and be his assistant. Because, see, that way he gets you to work and you have to pay him.
So if
and he gives you a signed base.
If I pay, the base is cool.
Yeah.
But if I paid Gene Simmons that amount of money, he would be bringing me coffee. I would not be bringing him
I would
coffee.
require to have sex with his wife and daughter.
Both?
Both at the same time.
No, that's...
Definitely not with Gene, because no.
Well,
even though Gene's got this great tongue.
I was going to say that tongue.
That tongue.
Clint says, or I'm sorry, Bob says the BBC is focusing on getting the younger kids to create a future fan base because a lot of us old timers won't be around. But like I said, what they're not realizing is that they're also ostracizing the people that started watching like in 2005 with Eccleston, because those people are not kids. Those people are my age.
You don't know this, Bob, because we haven't talked to you in a while, but we've been hearing a little bit from David Sully, who was contacting us to see how I was doing.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
To see how I'm doing.
He's a wonderful person.
I have to worry about him. He wants to worry about me. And then,
that was like Lenny Von Dolan was the same way here. I didn't even know Lenny was sick, and he was always reaching out to find out how you were doing.
And I can't go into details, but there's a health issue with Jerry Lacey. So you want to pray for him.
Yeah. Rick says
we talked to Jerry too.
2 of my ancestors were hung as witches at Salem. My family landed at Gloucester, Massachusetts in 1623. Rebecca Nurse was my 10th great-grandmother, and PBS produced a mini-series on my great-aunt Sarah.
Fascinating.
That is cool. I've always wanted to go to Salem.
You know, the thing about that is, you know, it is a religion. That's all according to how you look at it. I don't think the percentage of them were demonic. Most of them were white witches. But there was a lot that was burned and killed and hung that was innocent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of innocent people.
Well, and it was such a backwards time. And so, like, oh, well, what is it? Like, they throw them in water to see if they float. And that was how they determined if they were a witch. If
Disney would have been back then, you like Pinocchio, and you're saying, when you wish upon a star because you're wishing, you're a witch.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fascinating, though. I would love to go to Salem.
I
learned a lot about the Salem witch trials when I was in high school.
The greatest disappointment was our beloved Angelique from Dark Shadows.
Laura Parker.
We asked her if she believed in witches. She said no.
Yeah, she would not hesitate to pretend to put a hex on you.
And then, of course, the Smoking Man, when we had him on, and we just recently replayed that show, from X-Files was on. He doesn't believe in aliens.
None of these actors that we talked to ever believe in the supernatural that they portray on television.
Including David Selby. He didn't believe in all that.
Bob says David Selby is a class act. He really is. He's a very sweet man.
I saw him at a convention. And, he got to be an actor. I thought he was arrogant. Nicest guy I ever met. Met him in person and then talked to him on the phone. That Christmas message he gave just touched me.
He has a great speaking voice. He's a great writer. A great, what do you call it? Narrator. Great narrator.
Think about the ones from the original Dark Shadows as well. There's David. There's Catherine Lee Scott. There's Nancy Vera. There's Alexandra. And Jerry Lacey. He wasn't in the very beginning, but he was kind of there. Not a lot left. And when I played Eve, she wasn't
Marie
like in the
Wallace.
beginning either, but there's not a lot left.
But even a lot of the support, well, and the kids, David Hennessy.
Yeah, well, David Hennessy was there from show 1.
Yeah, he's still around.
And he hates Dark Shadows.
Sharon Lentz.
It's sad.
Sharon Lynn Smith, who played Sarah Collins. She's a grandma now. Her daughter just had her first baby.
David had a bug up his ass because the main star, was Mama Collins, and he didn't like that at all. That she got a trailer. And
Clint says he heard Gigi and Reggie Bannister got snow. I can guarantee you they got snow. There's a lot of places in Southern California.
Do you know about Reggie? Tell Clint what we read. We haven't talked to them.
I haven't talked to him, so I don't know firsthand, but I had read that Reggie is in home hospice care, meaning that he's staying at home, but he's having like nurses come in and take care of him, and that he's
pretty much what you do in your last
been
days.
Diagnosed with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's.
Which is not good.
Yeah, so having people come in and take care of him. We're sending our love and our wishes and prayers to him. If you go over on the Facebook page for Reggie, I believe they have an address where you can send like cards, greeting cards. And
yeah, they want to cheer him up.
They want to cheer him up.
For sure.
Rick says Satan was at Salem in the beginning. The girls were observed being thrown into the fireplace and walking on all fours and barking.
Wow.
Tituba the slave indoctrinated the girls for love spell help. Wow, he knows a lot. Well, as I guess you should, because you're relatives, you know a lot more about it than I do.
The movie that scared me more than any movie was The Exorcist. And Linda Blair done such a great job. And to think that the one that auditioned, if she would have, Anissa Jones, that played Buffy from Family Affair, she auditioned for that. It would have been bad. That was like Shirley Temple auditioned for The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Bob says that he knows that Jerry Lacey had an accident.
Yeah.
I guess that Jerry did an interview on Terror at Collinwood podcast.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I'm not real fond of the host of that podcast. She used to be my host, but that's okay. You can listen. But, yeah, Jerry told us, well, maybe I shouldn't say. He lost the ability for mobility. I don't know if he got it back. He couldn't walk. And his wife, from the Newhart show, taking care of him. We got to get back a hold of him.
Jesse Lee Vince says, hey, good to hear your voice again.
It's great to hear you anytime, Jesse. You're still,
always
have been and always will be one of my favorite actors.
I want to know if Jesse is still traveling around all the time. Because
yeah,
I remember when we had you on the radio show, you were just out traveling all the time. And I don't know if we ever shared this, but maybe I did share, but I enjoyed the story that Jesse had put on his Facebook page a while back, to where he was at like some diner and just some random couple paid his bill.
What I liked about Jesse is actors kiss each other's ass for the most part. Jesse does not, because he gave some pretty bold opinions about Max Baer Jr.
Yeah.
And from what I heard, rightfully so.
From what I heard, there's a lot of people that have a lot of very bold opinions of Max Baer Jr.
And I won't say what he said. It's in the article, actually. But Jesse gave his opinion about working with Max Baer, and it wasn't flattering, and I've heard a lot of people say that. And Jesse's got balls.
Yeah.
Because most actors are, I enjoyed working with him. No. If the guy was an ass, you say it. Just like the guy that played Eddie from Eddie and the Cruisers is an ass.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Michael Pare.
Yeah.
Well, and racist.
In our opinion.
Yeah, in our opinion.
It is an opinion that is only ours.
Yeah. Rick had mentioned that The Exorcist was based upon a true incident.
Yes.
That is true. And Clint, you're right. The Ghost Adventures team did go to the Exorcist house. The thing about The Exorcist is that is another thing, kind of going along with what we've been talking about, how you should not.
Scott Michaels is then on Zach Bagan's show, by the way.
About how you should not mess with anything that would be negative.
And you got to watch
like bad juju. We won't even watch anything to do with like exorcisms anymore. Like, we started watching the Exorcist series, and it's again, then bad stuff started happening.
I'm into horror films, and I was attracted because of horror, but you don't mess around with hauntings, possessions in the Bible.
Yeah.
It happened. It's real. Jesus cast people out, where the demons, he cast the demons out of people. It's in the Bible. It's documented. It is real. And you got to watch it.
Rick says Max, I'm assuming Bear, never wrote him back, but he sure cannot deny his writing, directing, and acting skills.
Oh, yeah.
Max is a hard nut to crack, Rick.
Yeah, I think Jesse would admit that Max was a good director, but just him personally?
No, and he's a hard nut to crack as far as getting a hold of. Like, we had Max.
Not a lot of people's interviewed Max Bear. We did.
We had Max Bear on our Max Bear Jr. on our radio show, but it was like,
that's on YouTube, by the way, right?
Bobbing. It is on YouTube. Just recently, it was like bobbing for apples to try to get a hold of Max, and we just happened to strike gold because I got a hold of his person.
Went to Chiller.
I knew an agent who knew his agent, and I got a hold of his agent at the time that he was traveling on a train to Chiller because he doesn't like to fly. And his agent booked him for the interview. I don't even know if she asked him, but basically when he got to New Jersey, New York area to do Chiller, she said, "Here, you have this interview once you check into your hotel." Yeah. So I have not seen a whole lot of interviews with Max. He is a hard nut to crack, but unfortunately, he's the only hillbilly left. He's the only cast member from Beverly Hillbillies.
From most of that whole,
unless you count spin-offs like Petticoat
Green
Junction.
Acres, Petticoat, and then it's only
Linda
the daughter,
Linda
K.
K.
Henning is the only one left.
Yeah.
But Max, yeah, he never really got away from being Jethro, but as a director, you couldn't touch him. Ode to Billy Joe, one of the great movies of all time. That was his movie.
That movie.
And Glennis O'Connor from Ode to Billy Joe we had on too. She talked very well. I guess he didn't hit on her.
I guess not. Maybe he had to type. He did.
He went after the girl that was on Jesse's movie.
Yeah.
Right, Jesse? Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't try to go after Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate guest starred on a couple episodes of Beverly Hillbillies.
Sharon Tate did guest star on Beverly.
Played like a secretary.
And he said that she was lovely, but not his type. I don't know what his type was.
What, beautiful? I don't. Maybe she was too smart for it.
He always wanted to get a casino, Jethro casino base.
Yeah.
Because he owns the rights to the Hillbillies.
Clint said he always wanted to go to a real haunted house, but no one would ever take him.
Come out here and we'll
go to the Queen Mary. You don't have to go to anybody's private residence. The Queen Mary is without a doubt haunted.
Give your story about the child's room.
We used to go to the Queen Mary all the time. Like, we were there like probably 4 to 6 times a year minimum.
Just let me say this, and I'll let you go. We got there as media. They gave us a free room. Mm-hmm. It's very expensive to stay there. I said, "Give me your haunted room." And they did. In the middle of the night, the TV kept coming on by itself. And I got up, and see, I'm used to this. I'm not like Zach Bagans people that run and get scared. I don't get scared. You talk to them, and you respect them. And I did. I talked to them, and I said, "We would like to get some sleep. Would you please stop turning the TV on?" And you know when I said that, it stopped.
Yeah.
Before that,
but
it
then
kept coming on.
We woke up the next morning. Yeah. And there was hand marks that looked like they had been dragged across the ceiling. There was in coal, like there was finger dragging prints.
Like soot.
In coal and soot, like somebody had been working in the boiler room. And nobody had been in our room. We had been in there sleeping all night.
And then we were in the swimming pool area. We went through at night, and we heard a voice that said, "Get out."
Yeah.
But the other story, go ahead.
Well, the other story was we were on one of the Queen Mary's guided tours with like their little tour guide. It wasn't like a haunted anything. It was just their regular tour of the ship that they give to people. And Terry and I were sitting down. They had stopped in front of a door. There was like an unmarked door, and the tour guide started doing her little spiel or whatever.
We didn't even know it was a child's nursery.
And I kind of I heard a baby crying. And Terry, I looked at Terry, and Terry and I looked at each other. We said, "Do you hear that?" And both of us heard a baby crying. But nobody else in the group seemed to hear it. Nobody else heard it at all. And then after we had confirmed to each other that we could hear this and noticed that nobody else was noticing it, the tour guide had mentioned that the door, the unmarked door that we were sitting in front of, was actually the door to the infirmary, the children's infirmary, for third class, the third class children's infirmary, where they would take sick and dying children.
And some died there.
And some died there. So we were like,
and then we took pictures, and in the pictures, I don't know if you know what orbs are. It's like looks like bubbles. There was orbs in the picture.
So I think I misunderstood Rick's comment earlier when he was talking about the Western live chat. I think that might have been his.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
tell
sure.
us, because
he said, given your vast knowledge and experience, you would be invaluable in our Western genre.
I love Western movies. There's a radio show. If you're talking about Western, like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers and all that Lone Ranger, there is a radio show on Sirius XM. It's a guy that has a recreation group of old Western songs.
Ranger Doug,
cowboy songs.
Yeah.
He does an old radio show where he plays music from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s of the old West style, like Gene Autry and Tex Ritter stuff. It's great.
And then Bob says, I just saw an episode of Beverly Hillbillies earlier that featured Sharon Tate in her second appearance in the second season.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she had black hair in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to see her really well, of course, Fearless Vampire Killers. I love that movie so much. But the Matt Helm movie she did with Dean Martin, Silencers.
Okay, so Rick said, so much for them being friendly to you. Don't talk to any spirits. It's not good. I have spoken to materialized demons that can materialize only to one person in a crowd.
They'll fool you, too. They'll act like they're your relative,
yeah,
or whatever. And
he said, no, it's Rob Word's show, not his. It's called Word on Westerns.
All right.
Rob Word on what? So
I'll check that out for sure. So absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the Old West. I love living here. We live almost exactly where they filmed many of them. We live by the Gene Autry Ranch, and we live by Saugus, which was a town that a lot of them. What was the name of that Silent Star?
Rick says to tell Rob Word that he sent us.
Okay.
So we will do that.
Yeah. What's that silent cowboy star that the high school is named after here? What's his name? But he has a house here, and did all those silent films. William Hart. William S. Hart. Thank you.
See? Getting old.
Yeah, we love the Old West
stuff. William Hart.
I was honored to have the daughter of the Lone Ranger, Clayton Moore, on the show to talk about her dad.
Tim says, wasn't Edie Williams on Beverly Hillbillies?
She probably was.
I think everybody was on Beverly Hillbillies, to be honest.
I wonder how many of them slept in Max Bear. Not Sharon Tate.
Not Donna Douglas.
No. He tried.
Yeah, and that wasn't happening.
He said he would wrestle with her and try to top a Phil. Donna Douglas did not like Max and actually said she enjoyed being with Elvis and Frankie and Johnny better because Elvis was a gentleman.
Well, not even that, but it's Elvis.
Yeah.
So Clint says, I couldn't believe how much makeup Granny had on the Beverly Hillbillies. They had to make her look old, but she made it work.
Yeah, she wasn't that old.
She was later.
She had recordings that she's
Granny's little miniskirt, black miniskirt or something like that.
Absolutely.
We actually did featured the Beverly Hillbillies soundtrack album where they all sang on an old episode of Crag Live. If you go to our website, you'll be able to hear it for free on demand. Go to cragradio.com, CRAGGRADIO.com, and scroll down and click on archive shows, and then you'll be able to find the one that has the Beverly Hillbillies soundtrack in it.
And on Saturday, 5 until
we
7
don't know.
Or 8. We don't know yet. How
7 or 8. It'll either be 2 or 3 hours.
5 o'clock on Pacific Coast, 8 o'clock on Eastern Coast. Crag Live, there'll be a guest mystery host who just might be the leader of the free world. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe. So
one time we had on Ted Neely, who played Jesus Christ And Jesus Christ.
One time we had on Arthur Brown, who was the devil of hellfire.
Now we're having the leader of the free world.
Which
who's going to be the host?
Thinks he's one of those, and it might possibly could be the other, vice versa. But I'll let you decide it because we don't get into politics.
Yeah, but he's going to be playing Chicken Man and the Tooth Fairy episodes.
Yeah, Bob. Ranger Doug is the same one who is a member of Riders in the Sky.
That is him. And you know that group's been going since I was a kid?
Yep.
It started out on the Nashville Network when there was a Nashville Network. Now they got something called The Circle. But yeah, he's been going since the 70s.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Their music is great. And he knows so much. And he's got a co-host. You love him. His name is Side Meat.
Side Meat.
He's like Gabby Harris.
Side Meat cracks me up every time I'll hear him. And like I know it's a character, obviously. I'm not delusional, but he'll be saying something, he'll be like he, and it cracks me. It reminds me of Grandpa for some reason. Now, I don't know why, but it does.
Right before he died, we got to meet John Ritter. John Ritter is the son of Tex Ritter, and Tex Ritter's wife was there. We got to meet her too. She was full Dale Evans.
Oh, she was.
Had the Western gear on.
She was chewing John Ritter out,
yeah.
And he was like, "Okay, Bob." Like he looked so embarrassed.
Because he was there for Freddy versus Jason, because it had a son in it.
Yeah. Jason Ritter. Yeah. So Rick said that if we tell Rob word that he sent us, he is known over there as Cowboy Rick.
All right.
And he wants to know if we interviewed Dawn Moore, Clayton Moore's adopted daughter, because if so,
we did.
He said look for Rob's interview with her. I guess she's a very good friend of Rob Word.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
we love Dawn. She was fantastic.
Good looking woman, and I'm so glad nothing happened to her in the fire. Back when Clayton was alive, I sent him a check because I wanted to cover the postage. I sent him like 20 little mini posters.
Okay.
He signed every
You're
one.
Gonna make me have to get off the elevated bed. People do not think that I'm just super like crippled. It's just the bed is in the air, so it's gonna be hard for me to get back up. But I'm gonna take the camera over and show them.
Is it snowing?
The Clayton Moore.
Clayton Moore autograph. Okay.
It's in the corner. It's framed.
Clayton sent me like 20
autographs. And people
autographs.
on Facebook, you don't get to see this because I can only carry one camera at a time.
Clayton sent me like 20 autographed little mini posters. And I got back the canceled check with Clayton's signature on there too. But he lived in Calabasas, and Dawn, as of the last time I talked to her, still lives in Calabasas.
Wait, hold on. Got to move my chair out the way.
I see it. You're over there. You're on. There it is.
There's some reflection. You see right up there in the corner.
He was my hero. I used to dress like him when I was a kid.
I think it's pretty good size. Like if you want, for kind of like perspective, that's my hand. And then these over here are Twilight Zone little like 3.5-inch figures. So it's probably about, I don't know, maybe like 11 by 14.
Yeah.
I would say.
It's on cardboard stock. I love it. Clayton was very nice to do that for him. He was up in age when he did that too.
Hi, Ho-Ho. Ho-Ho always looks for an opportunity to be on camera. All right, coming back over. Hold on.
I hate to say it, but I probably have to end because I need to visit the little girl's room. One of my problems I've been dealing with is a urinary tract infection.
So,
it's been a great night.
It has been.
Thank you for the super chat, Bob. I really, really appreciate it.
Bob says that Edie Williams was, in fact, on 2 episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies in the 4th season. See, this is why...
She's married to Russ Meyer for a while.
This is why when we do Crag Live, we used to have a chat because I didn't have to look up anything as long as Bob was in the chat.
He knew everything.
He knew everything. I could just say, and just like pause for 5 seconds and Bob would come in for the win.
Just watch for us to come on. We never know when we're coming on. The radio show is Saturday, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock on the East Coast.
Yes.
For 2 or 3 hours. We're not sure yet.
Yes.
Chicken Man, Tooth
Tooth Fairy,
and the leader of the free world.
Clint says, okay, I know we got to go, but I'll share this really quick because Clint hasn't, hasn't been chatting with us for a while.
No.
So Clint had said not to be mean, but that's a very weird looking cat. Or Ho-Ho.
He has no hair.
He wanted to know what happened to Wicked Kitty.
Wicked Kitty passed away.
So Wicked Kitty passed away in 2022.
Yeah.
Actually,
at the same time, I almost passed away.
When Terry got really, really sick.
I was in a coma, Clint. I don't know if you know that. It was bad.
When Terry had the aggressive lymphoma, and we didn't know what it was. It's just all of a sudden.
Look at this. In my throat here, I have a pipe. I have to breathe through that and get oxygen. So I still have a tracheostomy.
Yeah, and when Terry got really sick, we didn't really know what was going on. We just knew that like something was not right. And at the same time, like the same month, Wicked she was 20 years old.
20 years old, pretty good for
I knew that it was her time. And the night that she passed, she cried. I was not allowed to leave her side. Every time I tried to leave her side, she'd start crying.
And so, Fritz almost died.
Fritz almost died last year because he had a urinary blockage and he had to go in for PU surgery, which is where they basically it's gross, but they basically turn a boy cat into a girl cat. So they chop off the thingy, or at least the part that has gone dead, and they move the urethra up to the pelvic area.
He has a VJ now.
He has a VJ.
Yeah.
So now we have 3 cats.
But Fritz, it cost us a lot of money, but we got him back. We were very much in debt.
Fritz came back to the point to where he had to have 3 surgeries last year.
He died during the operation.
And he died during the last operation. His heart stopped, and they had to start doing chest compressions and put oxygen on him, and he came back.
Tell him about the oxygen thing.
They were surprised that what does this say? Oh, Daniel Acetra said over on Facebook, he says, Clayton Moore should have signed it to my favorite Kemosabe. Unless you ask a Native American.
We asked the Native American from Twin Peaks.
Michael Horace. He said Kemosabe is not a nice term.
He played Tonto in the 80s Lone Ranger movie.
Yeah.
He said that is a bad word.
That is a bad term to Indians. But yeah, no, what they said, the vet was actually surprised.
There's a story, real quick. There's a story on set of the Lone Ranger. Somebody called Jay Silverheels chief, and Jay Silverheels kicked his ass, beat him to the ground.
Yeah, you don't mess with them.
And Clayton Moore just walked over and was like, have a good day. Wait, Echo, read alert.
One new notification from Amazon. On Friday, there's a chance of rain near you in Elizabeth Lake, starting around 11 a.m. and continuing intermittently until around 8 p.m.
It tells us when it's raining and when.
So okay, let me finish reading these comments and wrap this up.
Yes, I gotta go.
Yes, Clint, we do still have Fritz. The vet was surprised when they put the oxygen.
3 cats. We have 2 naked cats and Fritz.
When they put the oxygen on him, Fritz immediately responded to it, started licking his lips, and it's because Fritz was used to Terry's oxygen hose here at home. But Terry would always, as a joke, hold the oxygen up to Fritz, and Fritz would always like react to it. So I believe that Fritz thought like, oh, mom and dad are there. Yeah. We do still have Fritz. And we have Ho-Ho and we have Hermie. Ho-Ho and Hermie are half brothers, and they are both hairless.
Ho-Ho is named after Imhotep from the movie The Mummy with Karloff. And Hermie is named after Hermie, the elf from Rudolph. Right?
Yes. So Rick says nobody writes comedy like they used to write for hillbillies. Granny says she's going to smoke some crawdads, but she needs a little pop first.
I'll definitely be checking your. Are you following us? Are you following us on Facebook? If you are, send me a direct message and send me the URL of his show.
Or comment in the comments of this YouTube video. That might be easier since you're already here. Yeah. And just put the URL in the comment section. I'll see it. It'll show up in the YouTube studio. I can copy
definitely check it out.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll do it tonight if you put it in.
And
comments.
Clint, we are sorry to hear about your mom.
Absolutely.
His mom passed away in 2019 from kidney failure.
We're all at that age, Clint, and it's sad.
Yeah, Rick. Rick's following us on YouTube, so just if you can put it in the comment section. Yeah. Other than that, I'll reference the comment section and I'll seek out Rob.
And it should let you, and if it doesn't, just send us a direct message.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go. I have 2 feeds to shut down. So I'm gonna shut down Facebook first. Good night, Daniel, if you're still over there. Good night, Daniel.
Good night, Jesse.
Good night, Jesse.
Good night, Clint. Good night, Kim. Good night, Bob. And our new friend,
Rick.
Hold
on. Okay, so this one's video. Okay, that one's done.
Tonight was fun.
Wait, we're not done yet. We're still live.
Okay, I know.
I have to. Too many cameras. Okay. All right, we are signing off.
I might accidentally say something like I secretly buried my wife in the backyard.
Please don't. Please don't.
I'm kidding.
Good night, everyone.
Wishful thinking.
Thank you for the super chat and thank you for hanging out. It was fun. All right, we'll be on live again sometime. And other than that, Craig Live will be on Saturday.
Keep watching the skies because the truth is out there.
That's right.
That's right.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.